Hi, I'm Matt Nuccio.
And I'm Bill Southern.
We're back again to talk about
Public relations and social media and how inventors should put it to use for them.
welcome to the UIA. So, thinking about it, what are the best ways to find the right firm or agency or freelancer for your product?
Yeah, no, that's a good question because increasingly there are a lot of PR firms and digital agencies and social media and advertising agencies out there. So a couple of suggestions, right? Probably the best suggestion is to ask your friends and colleagues, ask for a referral. Because if somebody has had a positive experience with an agency that and they can give a positive referral, then that's usually the means by which you can find a firm that is potentially well suited for you. There are some sources, there are some associations, the Council of Public Relations Firms, the O'Dwyer's Directory of PR Firms, that you can go in and there's data on different agencies and their size and stuff. But if you get that referral, at least that'll give you a leg up that you'll have an agency that has done good work in the past.
Are there any red flags you should look out for?
Size and budgets. I mean, basically, as an inventor, most inventors don't have big budgets.
Yeah, the
right?
shoestrings.
Yes, yeah. I mean, so a lot of you can't go to a big agency, you can't go to a mid-size agency because, a small budget, they're not going to be able to handle your business and they're not going to give you the attention that you need.
So you're looking for someone just to basically handle your social media to start off with? Or what does a small agency generally do differently than a big agency?
So a small agency is going to be more comfortable on two respects. They're going to be more comfortable working with smaller budgets, right? And they're going to be more comfortable, at least has been my experience with the inventor community, to taking a little bit of a risk. So for example, how we work with inventor companies that may not have huge budgets, you can do one of two things. You can say, okay, I'll take some of it in cash and I'll take some of it in equity. I mean, some inventors sometimes will say, marketing is very important, I'm willing to give up some equity. Big agencies, mid-sized agencies, that's just not a formula that works for them. Smaller agencies that are entrepreneurial, and if they believe in the product, there's a greater likelihood that scenario could work. The other thing is you could backload a program. You could put certain milestones in. You could say, we'll start small, and as you reach certain levels of success within the business, we'll increase the budget and the fee over the course of time. Mid-sized and big agencies, it's all about hourly rates. It's like a lawyer or it's like an accountant. It's how can I bill as much hourly rates as possible. So you're really looking for independent agencies that aren't owned by conglomerates, that are smaller, that are willing to take a risk. You should find somebody that has at least some relevant experience, within your industry, that they have some relationships and they've had some previous success. Because there's going to be not as much of a learning curve, and that's going to be helpful. It'll allow you to kind of get better liftoff. And to be honest with you, at the end of the day, I judge it, it's almost like dating, you got to have a gut feel that the individual and the agency that you're working with is a good cultural fit with you. They understand what I'm trying to accomplish. They're willing to work with me. I like them. There's a good chemistry between the inventor and their team and the agency and their team. So a lot of it still does come down to kind of the chemistry between the inventor and the agency.
But even with good chemistry, I mean, how do you manage expectations? Because especially if they're on a shoestring budget, I mean, everyone goes in thinking I don't mind paying a few nickels, but I want $1 million worth of business. I mean, do you have to set these milestones?
You have to set milestones to start. And I think the more specific you are, the better you're going to be. What are the vehicles that will allow us to reach our consumer, depending on who they are, male, female, young, middle-aged, older, ethnic, whatever, right? And create specific deliverables that the agency works towards and that the inventor is going to be comfortable with.
So to figure out these deliverables, though, don't you need to ask a bunch of questions of them, maybe find out things like keywords or specific terms that the inventor feels are essential to launching their product? How do you have a method of drawing this?
You really have a discovery day, and basically what you do is you say, okay, you download to us, everything about the product, everything that you believe it makes it unique, makes it interesting, makes it innovative. All those words you shouldn't use in the release, by the way. What is it though? What is your unique selling proposition, right? And who's going to buy the product? Who is it targeted towards? Age, demographic, etc. download that, and then the good agencies, they don't just say yes, 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 yes. They look and they say, okay, well, here's the competitive environment in which you're operating, right? There's competitors. Even if somebody says, we don't have any direct competitors, I'm sure you've heard this before, you know, most cases you do have direct competitors, and then you have indirect competitors. You have competitors that are perceived as being in the same category as business as you are. So the agency, good agencies, they'll do all that market research and they'll say, listen, here's who we're competing against for awareness, for space, for retail space, for time. Here's how they're positioned. So we're going to take what you've told us, but we're going to use our expertise and our knowledge of the competitive environment to create positioning and messaging that is going to resonate, and it will allow us to be successful and hit those milestones.
Do you ever find yourself in a situation where you just don't get the concept and you need to push the inventor away?
Yeah, to be honest with you, yes. I mean, when I evaluate an opportunity, and because we're an entrepreneurial independent company, we probably take more risks than most agencies. We're willing to have some skin in the game and you know, play the long game versus the short game. Because I make the decisions when I wake, right or wrong, I make the decisions when I wake up every morning, right? So it's always easier to work with somebody who takes that approach. But what I'll also look at is, do I think we can be successful? You know what I mean? Do I think that media will actually be interested in the product? Do I think that consumers will be interested in it? Do I think a retailer will be interested based upon, you know, how their store may be laid out? And if we don't, I'd rather just part friends and say, listen, we're just not the right fit for you, because, you know, I don't want to. We don't want to work with anybody who where inherently we don't think we can be successful for them. So we have to be very aware of the fact that when we represent brands from inventors or established companies, even, we have to make sure that we have the passion and we have the belief in those products and those brands, and that there is going to be some interest on the back end.
Please visit us online at www.uiausa.org or visit us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/UIAUSA.